Hey everyone, welcome back. So today I'm really excited because we're going to talk about something that I think is super practical and honestly kind of fun. We're diving into the most important travel phrases you need to know in English. And I'm not just talking about random vocabulary lists here. I mean real, actual conversation sentences that you can use when you're traveling, whether you're in an English-speaking country or you're just using English to get around somewhere else in the world. You know, I've traveled quite a bit, and one thing I've learned is that you don't need to speak perfect English to have amazing experiences. You really don't. But having a few key phrases in your back pocket can make everything so much easier and way less stressful. Like, imagine landing in a new city and being able to ask for directions without panicking, or ordering food at a restaurant and actually getting what you want. That's what we're going for today. So whether you're planning a trip, or you just want to be prepared for future adventures, or maybe you're helping someone else get ready to travel, this episode is for you. We're going to go through different travel situations, from the airport to hotels, restaurants, getting around, dealing with emergencies, all of it. And I'm going to give you the exact phrases that native speakers use, the ones that sound natural and friendly. All right, let's start with the airport, because that's usually where your journey begins, right? And airports can be overwhelming even in your own language, so having some go-to phrases in English is really helpful. First things first, when you arrive at the airport, you might need to check in. If you haven't checked in online, you'll go to the airline counter. Here's what you can say. "Excuse me, I'd like to check in for my flight to London." Simple, polite, gets the job done. Or you could say, "Hi, I have a flight to Paris at 3 p.m. Where do I check in?" The key here is being clear about where you're going and being polite. Starting with "excuse me" or "hi" makes you sound friendly right away. The person at the counter might ask you some questions. They'll probably say, "Can I see your passport and ticket, please?" And you just hand them over and say, "Sure, here you go." Or just, "Of course." They might also ask, "Do you have any bags to check?" If you do, you can say, "Yes, I have one suitcase to check." Or, "Yes, I have 2 bags." If you don't, just say, "No, just carry on," or "No, I only have this," and you can point to your bag. Another thing they might ask is about seating. Like, "Would you prefer a window or aisle seat?" If you have a preference, say, "A window seat, please," or "An aisle seat would be great." If you don't care, you can just say, "Either is fine," or "I don't have a preference." Now, once you've checked in, you need to go through security. This is where you might need to ask for directions. Here are some phrases. "Excuse me, where is security?" Or "Which way to the security checkpoint?" People at airports are usually pretty helpful, so don't be shy about asking. You can also ask, "Where is gate 15?" or "How do I get to gate 23?" And if you're confused about something, just say, "I'm sorry, I'm a bit lost. Can you help me?" People appreciate honesty, and they'll usually point you in the right direction. At security, you'll need to follow instructions. The security officers might say things like, "Please remove your shoes and belt," or "Take out your laptop and put it in a separate bin." You don't really need to say much here, just follow what they tell you. But if you don't understand something, it's totally okay to say, "I'm sorry, could you repeat that?" Or, "I didn't catch that, could you say it again?" After security, you're in the waiting area. This is where you might want to grab some food or coffee, use the restroom, or just find your gate. If you need to ask where something is, here are some useful phrases. "Excuse me, where's the nearest restroom?" Or, "Is there a coffee shop around here?" You can also ask, "Where can I get something to eat?" Or, "Is there a pharmacy nearby?" These questions work anywhere, not just at airports. When it's time to board, listen for announcements. They'll usually say something like, "We are now boarding flight for 7-2 to New York." Or, "We invite passengers in rows 1 through 10 to board." If you're not sure if they called your row, you can ask someone at the gate, "Has my row been called yet?" "I'm in row 18. Or just, "Can I board now?" They'll let you know. On the plane, you might need to talk to the flight attendants. They're super helpful, so don't hesitate to ask for things. If you need something, you can say, "Excuse me, could I have some water, please?" Or, "May I have a blanket?" If you're cold, say, "I'm a bit cold, do you have an extra blanket?" If you need help with something like your seat belt or the overhead bin, just say, "I'm sorry, could you help me with this?" Flight attendants will come around with drinks and snacks. They'll ask, "What would you like to drink?" You can say, "I'll have a coffee, please," or "Just water, thanks," or "Could I get an orange juice?" If they offer you snacks, they might say, "Would you like peanuts or pretzels?" Just choose one and say, "Pretzels, please," or "I'll take the peanuts, thank you." If you need to use the restroom on the plane and someone's in your way, you can say, "Excuse me, may I get past?" Or "Sorry, I need to get by." People will move for you. And if you're the one in the aisle and someone needs to get out, just stand up and say, "No problem," or "Of course." Okay, so you've landed. Congratulations, you made it. Now you need to go through immigration and customs. This can feel a little intimidating, but honestly, it's usually pretty straightforward. The immigration officer will ask you a few questions. Here's what to expect. They'll definitely ask, "What's the purpose of your visit?" You can answer with, "I'm here for vacation," or "I'm here on business," or "I'm visiting family." Keep it simple and honest. They might also ask, "How long are you staying?" You say, "I'm staying for 1 week," or "Just 5 days," or "About 2 weeks." They could ask, "Where are you staying?" You can say, "I'm staying at the Hilton Hotel," or "I'm staying with a friend," or "I have an Airbnb in the city center." If they ask, "Do you have a return ticket?" Just say, "Yes, I do." And if they ask to see it, you can say, "Sure, let me find it," and then show them. Most of the time, these questions are routine and the officers are just doing their job. If you're nervous, take a breath and answer clearly. If you don't understand a question, it's completely fine to say, "I'm sorry, could you repeat that?" Or, "I didn't understand, could you say that again?" After immigration, you'll get your luggage and go through customs. Sometimes they'll ask, "Do you have anything to declare?" If you don't, just say, "No, nothing to declare." If you do have something, like gifts or food, be honest and say, "Yes, I have some gifts," or "I have some food items." They'll tell you what to do next. Now you're out of the airport and ready to get to your accommodation. This is where transportation phrases come in handy. If you're taking a taxi, you need to know how to communicate with the driver. When you get in, say, "Hi, could you take me to this address, please?" and show them the address on your phone or a piece of paper. Or you can say the name of the hotel, like "Could you take me to the Marriott downtown?" If you want to know how much it'll cost, ask, "How much will it cost to get there?" Or, "What's the fare to the city center?" Some drivers will tell you up front, others will say, "It depends on traffic." That's normal. If you want to make sure they're using the meter, you can say, "Will you use the meter?" Or, "Can you turn on the meter, please?" During the ride, if you're chatting with the driver, they might ask, "Is this your first time here?" You can say, "Yes, it's my first time," or "No, I've been here before." They might give you recommendations, which is nice. If they ask, "How long are you staying?" just tell them like, "I'm here for a week," or "Just a few days." When you arrive, the driver might say, "Here we are," or "This is it." You can say, "Thank you so much." If you're paying, ask, "How much do I owe you?" They'll tell you the amount. If you're paying with cash, you can say, "Keep the change," or "Here you go, thank you." If you're paying with a card, say, "Can I pay by card?" If you're taking an Uber or a similar app-based ride, it's even easier because the address and payment are handled through the app. But you might still want to confirm with the driver. When they pick you up, you can say, "Hi, are you here for Sarah?" Or, "Are you my Uber driver?" just to make sure you're getting in the right car. And when you arrive, just say, "Thank you, have a good day." Public transportation is another option, and it's usually pretty affordable. If you're taking the bus or subway, you might need to ask for help. Here are some phrases. "Excuse me, which bus goes to downtown?" Or, "Does this train go to the airport?" You can also ask, "How much is a ticket?" Or, "Where can I buy a ticket?" If you're on the bus or train and you're not sure where to get off, you can ask someone, "Excuse me, could you let me know when we get to Main Street?" Or, "Is this the stop for the museum?" People are usually helpful, especially if you're polite and friendly. All right, now let's talk about hotels. When you check in at a hotel, you'll go to the front desk. Here's what to say. "Hi, I have a reservation under the name Johnson." Or, "Hello, I'd like to check in." The name is Smith. They'll look up your reservation and might ask for your ID and credit card. Just hand them over and say, "Sure, here you go." They might ask, "How was your trip?" Or, "Did you have a good flight?" This is just small talk, so you can say, "It was good, thank you." Or, "A bit long, but I'm here now." You don't need to go into detail unless you want to. They'll give you information about the hotel. They might say, "Breakfast is served from 7 to 10 a.m. in the dining room," or "The pool is on the 3rd floor." You can just nod and say, "Great, thank you," or "Good to know." If you have questions, ask them now. Like, "What time is checkout?" Or, "Is there Wi-Fi?" They'll give you the information. If they say Wi-Fi is free, you can ask, "What's the password?" They'll usually write it down or tell you it's on a card in your room. When they give you the room key, they'll say, "You're in room 312 on the 3rd floor." You can say, "Thank you," or "Perfect, thanks." If you need help with your bags, you can ask, "Is there someone who can help me with my luggage?" Or, "Could I get some help with my bags?" They'll call someone to assist you. Once you're in your room, you might need to call the front desk for something. If you need extra towels, call and say, "Hi, this is room 312. Could I get some extra towels, please?" Or, "I need more towels." If something's not working, like the air conditioning or the TV, say, "Hi, I'm in room 312. The air conditioning isn't working. Could someone take a look?" Or, "The TV in my room isn't turning on." They'll send someone to fix it. If you want recommendations for things to do, the front desk is a great resource. You can ask, "What would you recommend for dinner around here?" Or, "Are there any good restaurants nearby?" Or, "What are some must-see attractions?" They'll usually have lots of suggestions. You can also ask, "How do I get to the downtown area?" Or, "Is there a bus that goes to the beach?" When it's time to check out, go back to the front desk and say, "Hi, I'd like to check out room 312. They'll prepare your bill. If you want to review it first, say, "Could I see the bill, please?" If everything looks good, say, "That looks correct." Or just, "That's fine." If you see a charge you don't recognize, ask, "What's this charge for?" They'll explain it. If you're paying, they might already have your credit card on file from check-in. They'll say, "We'll charge the card we have on file. Is that okay?" If that's fine, say, "Yes, that's perfect." If you want to use a different card, say, "Actually, could I use a different card?" Or, "I'd like to pay with cash." Before you leave, you can ask if they can call you a taxi. Say, "Could you call me a taxi to the airport?" Or, "I need a ride to the train station. Can you help?" They'll arrange it for you, and when you're leaving, just say, "Thank you for everything," or "Thanks, I had a great stay." Now let's talk about restaurants, because eating is a huge part of traveling, right? When you walk into a restaurant, the host or hostess will greet you. They'll say, "Hi, how many?" Or, "Table for how many?" You say, "Table for 2, please," or "Just 1," or "We're a party of 4. If you have a reservation, say, "Hi, I have a reservation under Johnson." If the restaurant is busy, they might say, "There's a wait. It'll be about 20 minutes. You can say, "Okay, that's fine," or "Sure, we'll wait." If you don't want to wait, say, "Actually, we'll try somewhere else. But thanks anyway." Once you're seated, the server will come over. They'll usually say, "Hi, how are you doing today?" Or, "Welcome. Can I start you off with something to drink?" You can answer, "I'm good, thanks. And I'll have a Coke, please," or just "Water for now." If you need a minute to look at the menu, say, "Could we have a minute?" Or, "We're still deciding." When you're ready to order, the server will ask, "Are you ready to order?" Or, "What can I get for you?" You say, "Yes, I'll have the chicken sandwich." Or, "Can I get the pasta, please?" If you want to know what's good, ask, "What do you recommend?" Or, "What's popular here?" Servers usually have good suggestions. If you have dietary restrictions or allergies, tell them up front. Say, "I'm vegetarian. Do you have vegetarian options?" Or, "I'm allergic to nuts. Does this dish contain any nuts?" Or, "I'm gluten-free. Can this be made without bread?" Most restaurants are very accommodating. If you want something modified, just ask. Like, "Could I get that without onions?" Or, "Can I have the dressing on the side?" Or, "Is it possible to substitute fries for a salad?" They'll let you know if they can do it. During the meal, the server might check on you. They'll say, "How's everything tasting?" Or, "Is everything okay?" You can say, "It's delicious, thank you," or "Everything's great." If something's wrong, be polite but honest. Say, actually, this is a bit cold. Could you warm it up? Or, I ordered the salmon, but this is chicken. They'll fix it right away. If you need something, like more water or extra napkins, just get their attention politely. Say, excuse me, could we get some more water? Or, could I have some extra napkins, please? You can also say, when you get a chance, could we get the check? Speaking of the check, when you're ready to leave, you can say, we're ready. For the check, please, or could we get the bill? In the US, they call it the check. In other English-speaking countries, it's usually the bill. Either way, people will understand. When the check comes, look it over. If you're splitting it, you can tell the server, we'd like to split this. Or, can we have separate checks? If you're paying together, decide who's paying. If you're treating someone, you can say, I've got this, or this is on me. If you're paying with a card, the server will take it and bring it back with a receipt. In the US, tipping is expected, usually 15 to 20%. You can write the tip amount on the receipt. If you're paying with cash, you can leave the tip on the table. If you're not sure about tipping customs, it's okay to ask someone local or look it up quickly. Before you leave, you can say to the server, thank you, everything was wonderful. Or thanks, the food was great. It's a nice way to end the meal. Okay, let's talk about shopping because you'll probably do some of that while traveling. When you walk into a store, an employee might greet you and say, hi, can I help you find anything? If you're just browsing, say, no thanks, just looking. Or, I'm just browsing, but thank you. If you need help, say, yes, actually. I'm looking for a scarf. Or, do you have this in a different size? If you want to try something on, ask, can I try this on? Or, where are the fitting rooms? They'll point you in the right direction. After you try something on, if it doesn't fit, you can ask, do you have this in a larger size? Or, do you have a smaller size? If you like something but you're not sure, you can ask, can I think about it and come back? Or, I might come back for this later. No pressure. If you decide to buy it, just take it to the register and say, I'll take this. Or, I'd like to buy this, please. At the register, they'll ring you up and say, your total is $45. If you're paying with a card, they might ask, credit or debit? Just tell them which one. If you're paying with cash, hand it over. They'll give you change and a receipt. You can say, thank you, or thanks, have a good day. If you need to return something, bring it back with the receipt. Say, hi, I'd like to return this, or this didn't work out. Can I return it? They'll ask for your receipt and process the return. If you want to exchange it instead, say, can I exchange this for a different size? Or, I'd like to exchange this for something else. Now let's talk about asking for directions, because this is something you'll probably need to do. If you're lost, don't panic. Just find someone who looks friendly and approachable. Say, excuse me, I'm looking for the train station. Can you point me in the right direction? Or, hi, do you know how to get to Main Street from here? People might give you directions like, go straight for 2 blocks, then turn left. Or, it's just around the corner. If you don't understand, say, I'm sorry, could you say that again? Or, could you show me on a map? Most people will be happy to help. If you're using a map or GPS on your phone, you can still ask someone to confirm. Say, excuse me, I'm trying to get to this address. Am I going the right way? And show them your phone. They'll tell you yes or no. If someone's giving you directions and you want to make sure you got it, repeat it back. Say, so I go straight, then turn left at the light. They'll confirm or correct you. This helps avoid confusion. You can also ask about landmarks. Like, is there a big building or a sign I should look for? Or, will I see a park on the way? Landmarks make directions easier to follow. All right, let's talk about emergencies, because even though we hope nothing goes wrong, it's good to be prepared. If you lose your passport, go to your country's embassy or consulate. Call them and say, hi, I've lost my passport. What should I do? They'll guide you through the process. If you lose your wallet or credit cards, call your bank immediately. Say, hi, I need to report my card as lost or stolen. They'll cancel it and send you a new one. If you're in a foreign country, they can usually expedite this. If you're feeling sick, you might need to find a pharmacy or a doctor. You can ask, "Where's the nearest pharmacy?" Or, "Is there a clinic nearby?" At the pharmacy, you can say, "I have a headache. Do you have something for that?" Or, "I need something for a cold." The pharmacist will recommend something. If it's more serious, you might need to go to a hospital. You can ask someone, "How do I get to the hospital?" Or, "Can you call an ambulance?" If you're calling for help yourself, dial the emergency number. In the US, it's 911. Say, "I need help. I'm at this location," and explain what's wrong. If you're in an accident or something gets stolen, you might need to file a police report. Go to the police station and say, "I need to file a report. My bag was stolen," or "I was in an accident." They'll ask you questions and write everything down. Be as clear as possible about what happened. Okay, now let's talk about some general phrases that are useful in lots of situations. These are the ones you'll use over and over again. Thank you. This is probably the most important phrase. Use it all the time. When someone helps you, when you receive something, when someone holds the door. You can also say, "Thanks so much," or "Thank you very much," or just "Thanks." "You're welcome." This is what you say when someone thanks you. You can also say "No problem," or "My pleasure," or "Anytime." "Excuse me." Use this to get someone's attention, to apologize for bumping into someone, or to ask someone to move. Like, "Excuse me, can I get past?" Or, "Excuse me, I have a question." "I'm sorry." Use this when you make a mistake or when you need to apologize. Like, "I'm sorry, I didn't mean to bump into you." Or, "I'm sorry, I don't understand." "Could you help me?" This is great when you need assistance. You can also say, "Can you help me with this?" Or, "I need some help, please." "I don't understand." If someone's speaking too fast or using words you don't know, just say this. You can also say, "I didn't catch that." Or, "Could you explain that again?" "Could you speak more slowly?" If someone's talking really fast, ask them to slow down. You can say, "I'm sorry, could you speak a bit slower?" Or, "Could you slow down a little?" Most people will happily adjust. How do you say this in English? If you're trying to communicate something but you don't know the word, point to it and ask this. Or you can say, "What's this called?" "Where is the bathroom?" Or, "Where's the restroom?" This is essential. In the US, people usually say restroom or bathroom. In the UK, they say toilet or loo, but everyone will understand bathroom. How much does this cost? Use this when you're shopping or asking about prices. You can also say, "What's the price?" Or, "How much is this?" "Can I pay by card?" Or, "Do you take credit cards?" Some places only take cash, so it's good to ask. "Is Wi-Fi available?" Or, "Do you have Wi-Fi?" And then, "What's the password?" These days, Wi-Fi is pretty much everywhere, but it's good to know how to ask. "I'd like this, please." Use this when ordering food, buying something, or requesting something. Simple and polite. "One more, please." If you want another drink, another napkin, another anything, this phrase works. "No, thank you." Use this to politely decline something, like if someone offers you something. You don't want, you can also just say "No thanks," or "I'm okay, thank you." "Yes, please." Use this to accept something, like if someone offers you a drink or a sample at a store. Now let's talk about small talk, because this comes up a lot when you're traveling. Small talk is casual conversation, usually about light topics like the weather, your trip, where you're from. It's a way to be friendly and connect with people. If someone asks, "Where are you from?" you say, "I'm from Brazil," or "I'm from Japan." They might follow up with, "Oh, how do you like it here?" You can say, "I love it. It's beautiful." Or, "It's amazing. I'm really enjoying it." They might ask, "Is this your first time here?" You say, "Yes, it's my first time." Or, "No, I've been here once before." If they ask, "How long are you here for?" you say, "I'm here for a week," or "just a few days." Weather is a super common small talk topic. Someone might say, "Nice weather today, isn't it?" You can say, "Yes, it's beautiful," or "Yeah, perfect day." If the weather's bad, they might say, "Crazy weather, huh?" You can agree and say, "I know, it's really coming down," or "Yeah, it's wild out there." If you're chatting with someone and they give you a recommendation, like a restaurant or a place to visit, you can say, "Oh, thanks for the tip. I'll check it out." Or, "That sounds great. I'll definitely go there." If someone compliments you, like on your bag or your accent, just say "thank you," or "oh, thanks so much." You can compliment them back if you want. Like, "I like your jacket," or "your English is really good too." Let's talk about some phrases for when things go wrong, because travel isn't always smooth. If your flight is delayed, you might need to ask, "Do you know when the flight will leave?" Or, "How long is the delay?" The airline staff will give you updates. If your hotel room has a problem, call the front desk. Say, "Hi, there's no hot water in my room," or "The heater isn't working. Can someone come fix it?" They'll send someone right away. If you order food and it's not what you expected, talk to the server. Say, "I think there's been a mistake. I ordered the burger, not the salad," or "This isn't what I ordered." They'll fix it. If you're overcharged for something, speak up. Say, "I think there's an error on the bill," or "This charge seems wrong. Can you check it?" Most places will review it and correct it. If someone's being rude or unhelpful, stay calm and polite. You can say, "I'd like to speak to a manager, please." Or, "Can someone else help me?" Don't let frustration make you rude. Being polite usually gets better results. Now, let's talk about making friends or connecting with locals, because that's one of the best parts of traveling. If you meet someone and want to chat more, you can say, "Would you like to grab coffee sometime?" Or, "Do you want to exchange numbers?" Or, "It was great talking to you. Maybe we can hang out later." If someone invites you somewhere and you want to go, say, "That sounds fun. I'd love to." Or, "Yeah, count me in." If you can't go, say, "I wish I could, but I have other plans." Or, "Thanks for the invite, but I can't make it." If you're in a group setting like a hostel or a tour, introduce yourself. Say, "Hi, I'm Sarah. What's your name?" Or, "Hey, I'm John. Where are you from?" People love meeting other travelers. If you're traveling solo and you see someone else who looks solo, you can say, "Mind if I join you?" Or, "Is this seat taken?" Most people are happy to have company. Okay, let's talk about compliments and positive phrases, because being friendly goes a long way. If you try food and it's delicious, say, "This is so good." Or, "Wow, this is amazing." Or, "I love this." The person who made it or served it will appreciate it. If someone helps you, say, "Thank you so much. You've been so helpful," or "I really appreciate this," or "You're a lifesaver." If you're impressed by something like a view or a building, say, "This is incredible," or "This is breathtaking," or "Wow, this is beautiful." If someone does something nice for you, say, "That's very kind of you," or "You didn't have to do that, but thank you." Let's talk about some cultural things to keep in mind. In English-speaking countries, people tend to value politeness and personal space. Say please and thank you often. Don't stand too close to people unless you know them well. Make eye contact when talking to someone. It shows you're engaged. In the US, people are generally friendly and might strike up conversations with strangers. Don't be surprised if someone chats with you in line or on public transportation. It's normal. Tipping is a big deal in the US. Tip servers 15 to 20%, taxi drivers 10 to 15%, hotel staff a couple dollars per bag. In other countries, tipping customs vary, so it's good to research ahead of time. If you're invited to someone's home, it's polite to bring a small gift like wine or flowers. When you leave, say, "Thank you for having me." Or, "I had a wonderful time." Punctuality is important in many English-speaking countries. If you're meeting someone at a certain time, try to be on time. If you're running late, send a message and say, "I'm so sorry, I'm running a bit late. I'll be there in 10 minutes." All right, let's go over some phrases for specific activities. If you're going on a tour, the guide might say, "Stay close and don't wander off." Or, "We'll meet back here in 30 minutes. Just nod and follow along. If you have a question, raise your hand or wait for a pause and say, "Excuse me, I have a question." If you're at a museum, you might want to ask, "Can I take photos here?" Or is photography allowed? Some museums don't allow it, so it's good to check. If you're going to a show or concert, you might need to ask, "Where's my seat?" Or "Is this seat taken?" When the show starts, turn off your phone or put it on silent. If someone's talking during the show, you can politely say, "Excuse me, could you keep it down a bit?" If you're at the beach, you might need to ask, "Is it safe to swim here?" Or "Are there lifeguards on duty?" If you're renting equipment like a surfboard or a kayak, say, "I'd like to rent a surfboard for 2 hours." Or, "How much is it to rent a kayak?" If you're hiking, you might meet other hikers on the trail. It's common to say, "Hi, how's it going?" Or just, "Hey." It's a friendly gesture. If you need directions on the trail, ask, "Is this the way to the summit?" Or, "How much further to the lake?" Okay, let's talk about using technology while traveling. If you need to charge your phone, you can ask, "Is there an outlet I can use?" Or, "Do you have a charger I could borrow?" If you're in a cafe or restaurant, you can ask, "Do you mind if I charge my phone here?" If you need Wi-Fi, we covered this earlier, but just ask, "Do you have Wi-Fi? And what's the password?" If the Wi-Fi isn't working, you can say, "The Wi-Fi isn't connecting. Could you help me?" Or, "I can't get online. Is the Wi-Fi down?" If you're using a translation app and you need help understanding something, you can show your phone to someone and say, "Can you help me understand this?" Or, "I'm using a translator. Does this make sense?" Let's talk about compliments and how to respond. If someone compliments your English, say, "Thank you, I've been practicing." Or, "Oh, thanks, I'm still learning." If someone compliments something you're wearing, say, "Thank you, I got it here actually." Or, "Thanks, it was a gift." If you want to compliment someone, keep it simple and genuine. Say, "I really like your style," or "You have a beautiful home," or "Your city is amazing." People appreciate sincere compliments. All right, we're getting close to the end here, but I want to make sure we cover a few more things. Let's talk about saying goodbye, because endings matter too. If you're leaving a place and you want to say goodbye to someone you've met, say, "It was really nice meeting you." Or, "I'm so glad we got to talk." If you exchanged contact info, say, "I'll message you." Or, "Let's keep in touch." If you're checking out of a hotel, say to the staff, "Thanks for everything." Or, "I had a great stay." If you're leaving a restaurant, say to the server, "Thanks, the meal was excellent." If you're saying goodbye to someone you might not see again, you can say, "Take care." Or, "Safe travels." Or, "I hope you enjoy the rest of your trip." These are warm, friendly ways to part. If you made a good friend while traveling, you can say, "I'm really going to miss you." Or, "Let's plan to meet up again." Or, "You have to visit me in my country." Okay, let's do a quick recap of some of the most essential phrases. These are the ones you absolutely need to know. Thank you, excuse me, I'm sorry, please, you're welcome. Yes, no, help, where is, how much, I don't understand, could you repeat that? Do you speak English, I need, can I have? Where's the bathroom, water, food, hotel, airport, train, bus, taxi, left, right, straight, here, there. These words and phrases will get you through most situations. You don't need to be fluent. You just need to be clear and polite. One more thing I want to mention is confidence. Even if your English isn't perfect, speak with confidence. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. Everyone makes mistakes, even native speakers. The important thing is to communicate and connect with people. Most people appreciate the effort and will help you if you're struggling. And remember, body language and gestures can help a lot. If you don't know the word for something, point to it. Smile. Use your hands to demonstrate. Communication is about more than just words. Traveling is such an incredible experience, and being able to communicate in English opens up so many opportunities. You can talk to people from all over the world, make friends, learn about different cultures, and navigate new places with confidence. I hope this episode has been helpful and that you feel more prepared for your travels. Whether you're planning a trip soon or just dreaming about future adventures, these phrases will serve you well. Practice them, use them, and don't be afraid to put yourself out there. Thank you so much for listening today. I really appreciate you spending this time with me. If you have any questions or if there's a topic you'd like me to cover in a future episode, let me know. Safe travels, everyone. Take care, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye.